Hi folks, Slices here. Now, if you've been watching my channel any length of time, you'll know that the thing I collect most of is Sheffield-made traditional pocket knives. And if there's one pattern that really is, it sort of stands out as the common knife, it's the Lambsfoot. I know that the Barlow is sort of the standard these days of traditional pocket knife, but the Lambsfoot is, I think, the most common pattern that's come out of Sheffield since, well, for a long time. The sleeve board was, the equivalent sleeve board was a very popular one at one point, but the Lambsfoot's been around a long time, and it just keeps on hanging on in there. So these are three by Michael May, Taylor's Eyewitness, and Arthur Wright, and they're all roughly the same sort of size. The Taylor's one's a little bit slimmer, the Michael May perhaps a little bit beefier, but all similar sizes. But this isn't the only size that these things come in. There is also the large Lambsfoot. Now, prior to just recently, I only had one. It was my Taylor's Eyewitness, but I've just picked up two here from Arthur Wright, and as you can see, they're just a little bit bigger. Now, I was on the phone to Jane at the famous Sheffield shop. I've never actually met Jane face to face, but she's a really lovely person to deal with over the phone, and very knowledgeable about her knives, and also great on customer service and things like that. Because of it's in the nature of the beast that whatever they say on the website about what might or might not be available, there's always just going to be what's available in stock at any given time, because, you know, Ashley's only got two hands, and him and his father, and I think they've one or two other people that work for them, there's a limit to how many knives they can turn out, and they've obviously got a lot of shops that they supply, as well as selling some knives direct online straight from Arthur Wright & Sons. But as I say, I was on to Jane about something else actually, not about these, and I just have asked her, what do you have in stock? And she said, well, I have a couple of these large Lambsfoot knives. So I thought, well, I don't have one of those, so I think I'd be interested. So I had one of each of the two that she had in. Now, I do have another large Lambsfoot, but it's not by Arthur Wright, it's from Taylor's. This is one of the ones from one of their budget ranges. This is imitation stag, though it has nothing in common with stag. Not real stag, it's just a plastic. But these are quite tough little knives. But it's the same size as these Arthur Wright ones. So it's the only other one I've had like that in all my years of collecting, and I've had plenty of other knives. Now, the traditional Lambsfoot has a blade there of 2 3/4 inches, with a cutting edge of about 2 3/8 of an inch, something like that. So these are very clearly UK legal pocket knives. You can have up to 3 inches, 76 millimeters length, without having to give any reason or justification for carrying it. There are certain exceptions about where you can carry a knife, sort of in schools, certain government buildings and places like that, pubs, sporting events and stuff. But in the main, you can put one of these in your pocket every day and not have to worry about it. These are slightly on the larger side. They're still very definitely UK legal, because the law says in Britain that you have to have a cutting edge of less than 3 inches. Well, the cutting edge of these is 2 3/4 inches, so that's well under the 3 inch mark. Where there is some slight potential for conflict is that the overall blade length here, though, is over the 3 inches mark. It's about 3 1/8 or 3 3/16. Now, that's shouldn't be a problem, shouldn't be an issue, but it will be an issue for some. if you are particularly young or in any sort of group that the police are likely to stop more than others, a police officer has only got to say to you, that blade is over 3 inches, I don't like the look of you, you're coming down to the station with me. Now, you're very unlikely to end up in jail over it or anything like that, unless you've been a bit of an idiot with the policeman. But there is potential for there to be a problem. So I would suggest if you're not feeling very confident, you'd be better off with one of the standard size knives. But if you've got bigger hands and you're perhaps older and less likely to be stopped, then these large knives are very much nicer to use. Now, I got the two. This one is oak, I think, and I can't remember, but I think this one is rosewood. I did, Jane did tell me, and I just went in one ear and out the other, and I just completely forgot. But anyway, I like these knives. I think they're quite well made, certainly for the price. And the rosewood one actually is actually very nice. I think the fit and finish on this is pretty good. There is some, perhaps the spring is slightly more recessed than the liners, but not so much as you'd notice unless you're looking for it. What is important is that these are dished liners. The dished liners because they have a concave side and a convex side. The concave side faces against the wood and scale. So when it's pressed together, you have a greater degree of pressure around the edges, which forms a nice seal between the scale and the liner. That's the important bit, because if you get moisture in there, it's difficult to get it back out again. So it's important that there's a good seal. That's why it's important that knives are dished, and in the long run, not just the short run, that matters. Some companies like GUC and Rough Rider don't dish their liners. They simply count on the fact that they're flat and hope that that flatness is going to preserve the tightness over time. In practice, I think that's probably unlikely. A dish liner will tend to work better because it has that higher degree of pressure around the outside of the perimeter of the liner and the cover, which helps to keep them nice and fresh and moisture proof. If there's some slight gapping between the liner and the spring, it's far less important, because that you can flush out and get some oil into. You really don't want to be flushing out the difference between the scale and the liner. That's never going to end well. Blade steel on these, I think, is C70. It certainly is nothing special. I think Jane would have said if they were 01 or something of that ilk, so I think they're just C70. But they're a nice size, very nice traditional knife, oak and rosewood. I think it's rosewood. And yeah, I was very pleased to get them. I spoke to her on the Friday before Christmas. She sent them out on the Wednesday straight after Boxing Day, and they arrived with me on the Thursday. So service was, as ever, brilliant. She would have sent them out on the day before Christmas Eve, but we had a postal strike here, so there'd be no benefit. They wouldn't have gone anywhere. The earliest she could have sent them was the Wednesday. She sent them on the Wednesday and they arrived on the Thursday. So I think that's absolutely perfect. So great service. If you're looking to buy from her from overseas, it's probably worth giving her a ring. I don't have an affiliate link. I get no benefit from recommending them. Unlike the Bakewell Cook Shop, where I do get a 5% and you get a 5% discount if you mention my name. None of that with the famous Sheffield shop. Just great service, and yeah, just great service, and charming lady to deal with. So if you're ever phoning them up, ask for Jane. She's the one that knows all about knives, pocket knives, and she'll tell you what they've got and a little bit of a rundown of a bit more in detail about what's there. So thanks Jane. Thank you all for watching. If you like your stuff, please give it a thumbs up, And if you would like to see more of these things, and there's the one I actually was phoning Jane about in the first place will be coming up shortly, then please subscribe and remember to ring the bell. Thank you very much. Bye.